Welcome back, Truth Seeker. It's Wednesday, March 6th, 2019. Tonight, we'll be doing Truth Frequency Radio, and I'm sending an invite out there to Marty Leeds. I'd love for him to call in, and I'd like to debate the subject of what ciphers are relevant in the language of Gematria, or Gematria. For years, he's maintained that there's just one cipher. There's just the cipher, the one he teaches. And he said that using the alphabetic order is a false cipher, a meaningless cipher, which is a really strange remark to make in light of the fact that Hebrew, where this code originally comes from, uses the alphabetic order as a cipher. So does Greek isopsophy, uses the alphabetic order as a cipher. So the question becomes, why would English not use the alphabetic order as a cipher in light of it being built, this language of letters and numbers within English, being built on the knowledge and systems that came before it? And here he's giving a live stream about sacred geometry and the significance of 108. And listen to what he says to this person who clues him in about using the alphabetic order. And I've told Marty this for years, and he continues to say it's meaningless, but just listen to him in his own words. And then, again, I'm going to address this point and put the invite out there for Marty to call into the radio program, which begins at 6 p.m. Pacific and goes until 9 p.m. Pacific. I believe Marty's in Hawaii now, so he's a few hours behind that. We really should have this debate. Listen to Marty say that using the alphabetic order is awful. Listen to this.
What else do we got here? Dun, 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 dun. In ordinal gematria, the word geometry equals 108. Well, don't use ordinal. It's awful.
So there he is. You know, he's talking about sacred geometry, 108. Somebody in the comments says, hey, don't forget that geometry sums to 108 just using the alphabetic order. He's like, oh, yeah, well, who cares? I mean, I'll use that cipher. It's horrible. Which is just a completely idiotic point again. Manly P. Hall, in his book, The Secret Teachings of All Ages, puts that out as a cipher. He puts out two ciphers that people use within English. One is the alphabetic order. The other is the alphabetic order with the rules of numerology, which is also known as Pythagorean Gematria. Marty Leeds says both of those ciphers are false. Just his cipher is the cipher, the one that he has up on the screen. So, again, this is what the person was pointing out, that using the alphabetic order, geometry sums to 108. 108, this very significant number that connects the sun, the earth, the moon. They say that the diameter of the sun is the diameter of 108 earths side by side. And from the earth to the sun is the diameter of 108 suns side by side. And the diameter of the moon, from the moon to the earth, is 108 moons side by side. Plus, if you just look at the number 108 and you think about geometry, anyone who's taken geometry class will relate with this. A 1, when you draw it, is essentially a line. Remember graphing lines in geometry? 0 is a circle. Remember measuring circles? 8 is 2 circles. Geometry, 108. If you've read my book, the 24th page has a lot of information on the significance of 108, including the golden gnomon, which is a very relevant triangle to the Greeks and Pythagoras, who were practitioners of this code of letters and numbers. For years, I've asked Marty to address this point. He says that English is based on pi. The mathematical shorthand to get to pi is to divide 22 by 7. 22 divided by 7 gives you the approximation of pi, which begins 3.14. Just using the alphabetic order, this cipher that Marty says is so awful, if you write out 22 divided by 7, it sums to 314, which looks an awful lot like pi, 3.14. And just in case you're not familiar with this Shortcut for getting to pi, 22 divided by 7 equals, there you go, 3.14, etc., etc., etc. Very close to the approximation of pi. How many degrees are in a circle? If you write out 360, it happens to sum to 227. A lot like 22 divided by 7, which gets to pi, which again has a lot to do with the measurement of a circle. Now, coming back to geometry, in Hebrew, there's multiple ciphers. In Greek, there's multiple ciphers, including running the alphabetic order in reverse. And when you turn the alphabetic order around, geometry still sums to 108. There's not a lot of words that are the same forwards and backwards. So geometry has perfect symmetry in English gematria. Perfect. Symmetry, a huge concept in the study of geometry. Now, what I refer to as the 4 base ciphers are the alphabetic order, the reverse alphabetic order, and then those 2 orders also incorporating the rules of numerology. Notice that the alphabetic order with the rules of numerology, geometry, is 45. This language is very much biblical. And the old world belief is that God is the master mathematician of this world. God is the master geometer. That's why the Freemasons, you have to believe in God. Their logo is a capital G between instruments of geometry. And in some Masonic logos, the compass is set at 45 degrees. But notice Holy Bible, which is full of this knowledge. 4 letters, 5 letters. In that same cipher, Holy Bible is 45. 45 is the 9th triangular number. When you add 1 through 9 together, it equals 45. Coming back to geometry. Geometry is 36. The golden gnomon, which was this very special triangle to Pythagoras, notice the measurement. 108 degrees and 36 degrees. Geometry. 108, alphabetic order forwards and backwards, with the reverse alphabetic order and rules of numerology, 36. And just coming back to the alphabetic order, gematria is about pairing words that have relationships and also matching numerical value. English sums to 74. Gematria sums to 74. This is occult knowledge, 74. It's practiced within Masonry. Masonic is 74. Again, the Freemason Manly P. Hall hinted at this knowledge in his book, The Secret Teachings of All Ages, where he puts out the alphabetic order and the alphabetic order with the rules of numerology, also known as Pythagorean gematria. So, English, gematria, occult, Masonic, they're all 74. This comes from Jewish mysticism known as Kabbalah. Jewish is 74. By the way, using the alphabetic order in Hebrew and in English, Kabbalah sums to 38. Hebrew and English, Kabbalah sums to 38. There's actually a lot of overlap with English and Hebrew. If you use the alphabetic order in the rules of numerology, notice, let me refresh this here. English and gematria are also 38. Just like Kabbalah is 38 using the alphabetic order, Hebrew and English. Coming back to just the alphabetic order, again, there's a major spiritual relationship here with this study. And think about, in this English-speaking world, what the most common religion is. It's Christianity, where Jesus is the central spiritual figure. With the alphabetic order, Jesus is 74. Messiah is 74. The story of Jesus is the gospel. Gospel 74. Jesus spoke in parables. Parables 74. Jesus died on the cross. Cross 74. The English translation of Jesus is Joshua. Joshua 74. You know? And here Marty wants to tell people that using the ordinal cipher is just so terrible, it's so meaningless. You know what's interesting? Out of the 50 states, only one sums to 74 using the alphabetic order. It happens to be the 33rd state, Oregon. 3374, English-speaking nation. Jesus, the English, interpretation of Yeshua. What's this nation's birthday? How do we write it? 7-4, holiday 74? What's Independence Day when you use the alphabetic order and rules of numerology? Let me see. Independence Day. Alphabetic order, rules of numerology 74. English-speaking nation, Masonic nation. Marty wants to say it's all just a coincidence, which is to be as misleading as you could possibly be. It's also to be as illogical as you could possibly be. And the other thing that Marty's spearheading is saying that Freemasonry is not responsible for any wrongdoing in this world. In recent days, Marty's been talking a lot about how idiots blame Freemasonry for things in this world. He says Freemasonry is a bunch of good people. They're not responsible for any of the wrongdoing in this world. And he knows that because he's not a Freemason. That's his argument. Literally, that's his argument. He knows that because he's not a Freemason. So, anyway, tonight we'll be on with TFR. If you listen to this guy, beware. He is a clown. He does put out some good information, but he pushes a lot of garbage, a lot of false ideas, including that Ordinal Gematria is awful, when it's the most simple cipher to understand. By the way, what Ordinal Gematria is really called is Simple English Gematria. Just using the alphabetic order, simple is 74, English is 74, Gematria is 74. Simple English, all 74. So anyhow, Marty, you know where to find me. You know the number to Truth Frequency Radio. Why don't you phone in tonight and debate? I'll be looking for the Hawaii area code all night. If I see Hawaii light up on the board, I'll go to Hawaii first. I'll let you cut in line. So I'm going to be looking for the Hawaii area code tonight. Or you have my Skype. I mean, you do have my Skype, so you can always contact me on Skype. I can connect you that way. Yeah. That would have been a great public release. How Marty Leeds, him and I had a conversation some time back, and he said he would never debate me. Wonder why. Wonder why that is. You see how when you turn the alphabetic order around, Gematria is 142? Look at English language with the alphabetic order, 142. You notice the 74 over here? There's a whole lot more to it. You should definitely read my book. And, just be careful who you listen to. A lot of people pushing false information, including this guy. Until next time.